New at 3, House Minority Leader Karen Camper just wrapped up a multi-state tour with the Black Legislative Leaders Network. It was created in response to federal funding cuts and the growing shift of authority at the state level. The goal was to hear from Black and marginalized communities about their concerns and to help build forward-thinking policy. The House leader joins us now to talk more about the tour, along with some of the issues impacting our community. Leader Camper, good to see you. As always, how have you been doing?
Hey, Alex, good to see you too. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today at 3 at 3. Before we get into the Power Tour, as it's been called, I do want to talk to you about the status of education and funding, especially in the state of Tennessee, and how it impacts us here in Memphis. Where do you think things stand right now?
Well, two things, Alex. A couple years ago, if you remember, the speaker put together a task force to look at, the possibility of not having funding. So we have, data from that, those hearings we had a couple of years ago. And this past last year, we had our assistant leader pass the bill to also look at what would happen. So I think we're gathering data. I think we all know that it's going to be a massive hit to us. I'm hoping that what doesn't come out of that is that the state decide they want to push it down to local levels, where the locals will have to possibly increase property taxes in order to pay for education at the same level that we have right now.
I'm wondering, though, do you applaud the move? Let's say, for example, what XAI is doing with some of the schools here in the Memphis area when it comes to deferred maintenance problems. Do you like that, what they're doing, or do you have some issues with XAI?
Well, I feel like at this point and juncture of where we are, we need all hands on deck. So if we have businesses, corporations, organizations that feel that they want to invest in our children, invest in our school system, I'm all for that. And this may be the time, based on what happens with the funding at the federal level, where we will have to reach out to organizations, companies, businesses like XAI, FedEx, and others FedEx, who's always been there to help to that end. Now, is it their responsibility? No. But would the school system decide to turn away those dollars if it's going to help our children? Then I would say that they probably would agree to do that.
Well, let's talk about the Power Tour that we mentioned a little bit earlier on in the introduction. You have had a chance with others to cover a lot of ground recently. Yeah. What are you hearing from your constituents? What are some of the other concerns out there?
Well, a lot of things. One thing that kept coming up across the country, and even in our Black Caucus tours that we're doing right now across the state of Tennessee, people are concerned about mental health. People are concerned about, education. People are concerned about, access to health care, what will happen with the Medicaid dollars, with Medicare, and particularly after the passage of this bill that, was just passed at the federal level, and not hearing from some of the congressional delegations. That's a real concern. So they're looking to state leaders to, look at these issues and then offer comprehensive solutions and recommendations in terms of public policy to try to help mitigate the impact of what this bill is going to have across the country.
Are you also hearing a lot, and was there a lot of feedback or maybe a lot of questions about the status of equity initiatives that have been, let's face it, under attack recently? What do you tell people, and where do we go from here?
Yes, we did hear a lot of that, because most people feel that it's been a mischaracterization of what the programming really is about, and that it is coming across as a negative thing when everybody know that it was positive and it was helping people to have a seat at the proverbial table, if you will. So what we have to do is be creative about how we attack these issues. These programs, these systems, these things that were in place are helping America move forward, helping people move forward, helping families move forward. So we're going to have to look at, how do we talk about this now? How do we achieve the same goals using different language, maybe another creative solution? So those are the kind of things that, and honestly, people on the ground have the answers. And they were giving us keen insight into what we can actually do to continue with all the great work that was coming out of these DEI initiatives across the country, quite honestly. And we heard about.
One last
Yeah,
thing
go
very
ahead.
quickly, excuse me. What's next for the Power Tour? Will it be coming to maybe Memphis, Tennessee or somewhere close by?
We are trying to do exactly that. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Well, first off, what we ask the leaders to do across the country is to continue to hold these hearings in their districts. Leader Agbeer and I are planning field hearings across the state of Tennessee starting in October to do the very same thing. So we asked all the leaders as part of the network to continue to do the same thing. But if the Power Tour is looking at going to additional states, I think it was 10, maybe 11 in the first set.
Okay.
And they're looking at other states to hit, and we're trying to make sure that Memphis is on the list for them to come through so that, we can get our voices heard.
Always. Leader Camper, always good to see you. Hopefully we'll see you
Always
in
good to see
person
you.
the next time. Look forward to it.
You will. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Keeping the fingers crossed. Take care of yourself.
All right. See ya.
All right. A short break. We'll be back in just a moment.